Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. I'm here with Jake Duffenbaugh with me today, as always. Our co-hosts, Chris Bixby and Matt Bingle. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Good, Jakey. How you doing?
That's great to hear. I'm doing great as always. Thank you for asking. Hey Chris, what do we have for today?
Our guest for today, he is a songwriter and composer. He's worked on Sesame Street going back to the beginnings. He worked with Jim Henson himself on the Jim Henson Hour and some other projects as well. We're here to talk about that and some other things he's done as well. And here he is, Mark Radice. Mark, happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me be on here.
Of
Or in there,
course.
because we're
Yes,
doing
yes, a pleasure.
So to kick this off, so could you, even though I kind of did already, in your own words, could you introduce yourself a little bit and what you do?
I started recording in 1964. I was signed to RCA Records at the age of 7,
Wow.
and we put 5 singles there. I put out my first album at 12. I toured with Donovan at 16. I was in a disco band at 18. I toured with Aerosmith at age 20.
Wow.
CBS songs from 82 to 90. My dad was a recording engineer. I should back up a
Okay.
little there. Recorded. My dad was a recording engineer for Jimi Hendrix, the Vanilla Fudge, Cowsills, Mamas and the Papas, the Lovin' Spoonful, 40 different bands. So as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid, I got to hear all of these hits before they ever hit the stations in different forms. Because he'd be like, the vocal's not loud enough on this new Lovin' Spoonful song. And they were all hitting the top 20, the top 10 on Billboard charts. I found my grandmother's piano downstairs, and it was a big thing. The Beatles were huge when I was 7 years old. I was like, they'd come out with Lovely Rita, Rita Maid. So I wrote, The Girl by the Meter is Looking at Me. It was like fake Beatles songs.
The girl by the meter is looking at me with some love in her eyes. She gave me a smile and now my heart is more than 10 times the size that it was when I had never seen her before. The girl by the meter is walking towards me with a very slow step by step. Never been in this position and I don't know if I should try to get, or should I wait and see what I am going to get. The girl by the meter is really out of sight. The girl by the meter, I love her with all of my might.
And I started playing for my dad, and he said, those aren't fake Beatles songs, those are actual songs. So he took me to RCA Records, and they were like, this kid's writing songs at 7 years old? And they were like, yeah, and he's playing all the instruments.
Wow.
So it's signed to RCA, and then Decca, and Paramount.
I know you kind of touched up on it earlier, but what made you want to get into the music industry?
You know what's weird is I didn't want to get into the music industry. I was being a kid. If you're a 7-year-old kid, if you can remember when you were 7, another thing I used to do is I'd go out in the backyard and pretend to be a Mets baseball player. And here comes Mark Radice, Mark Radice, Mark Radice, number 42, number 42, give me this home run. So when I was writing what I thought were fake songs, and here's the new song by Mark Radice, and then I'd fake it. That's how I kind of, and also with my dad being in the industry, I was just basically following his footsteps.
Right.
To the point, he had a black attaché case that he would take with him to the studio and back. At 10 years old, I had a black attaché case and sell my 45s to my classmates.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You've also written a number of songs for celebrities outside of Sesame Street. Can you talk about that?
A song I did when I was 10 called 10,000-Year-Old Blues. Now, at the time, my dad was recording a band called Chain Reaction, and Chain Reaction's drummer was Steven Tallarico, who eventually became Steve Tyler. So Steve Tallarico, at 20 years old, was on a 10-year-old Mark Radice single called 10,000-Year-Old Blues as the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought I wanted to be an astrophysicist. But
Oh,
people
wow.
were telling
Interesting.
me, no, man, you're a genius. You're a prodigy. You'll have a beautiful career and all that stuff. And here I am. I have 5,600 originals.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah, about 10 years ago, a friend of mine called me. He said, 34 days. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, I calculated if I listened to your songs back to back, how long it would take to listen to them all. 34 days. That was 10 years ago.
Wow.
So now it's probably 50
What?
days.
Wow.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
listen. I have about 3,000 that aren't released yet that are recorded. But I'm never
Wow.
going to live long enough to get them.
Mm.
And also, with Spotify uploading 100,000 uploads daily now.
What?
Back when I was selling records, what you had to do is you would have to be good enough to be taken to a record company who would take you to an A&R guy who would say, yeah, this is good. I'm going to take this to the guy who's in charge of signing. And then the guy would have to sign you or your band. And there was, you had to sing, you had to play instruments. There was no fake stuff. Once you got signed, they'd put some money into promotion and give it to radio stations. And then the average listener would listen to basically 40 songs a week, which were the best of the best of the best. And that's all you heard. You didn't hear all the stuff that just wasn't good enough to listen to. And nowadays, there's 100,000 uploads on Spotify daily from people. A lot of them don't sing, as you know. A lot of them don't play instruments. People take loops, like.
Right, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that enough of me yet?
No, no.
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 All
I
right,
don't
Jake,
know
it's
where
your
it's going to
question.
go next. I'm afraid it might be artificial intelligence,
Mm.
which means you take out even the people not singing that are using loops. Just have the machines do it.
Yeah.
The machine
Right,
will,
yeah.
The machine will write the lyrics. The machine will come up with the music. There's a friend of mine who's working on AI, and he's like, check this out, man. AI wrote this. And it was like doom 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 doom. All right, I'm gonna send you something called Hi, which is human intelligence. And I played it. That's what a human does.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, who are some of your biggest musical influences?
I would say the Beatles and the Stones. I grew up on those, and then
Oh, of
Led
course.
Zeppelin.
Mhm.
My poor parents.
Mm-hmm.
Once Led Zeppelin came out, my poor parents, because I have the immigrant song going on all day, like at the volume 11. I would just go to the record store almost every day, like where I wound up with 3,000 albums. I have to add Elton John and
Oh, I
Steely
love
Dan.
Elton John, yes.
Oh yeah.
Excellent
Elton John's
choices.
great, yes.
Nowadays, I love Dirty Loops. I love those guys.
Before you began working for the Muppets and Sesame Street, did you have any familiarity with those franchises at all?
Well, I mean, watched them like all kids did. Did I have any experience with them? Yeah, just watching them. But do you want me to tell you how I got involved with them? I guess.
Yeah.
No.
if you want to, you can.
Sit back, make popcorn. I'll try and keep it under 2 minutes. Now, Phil Ramone had 18 Grammys over his career. 18 different Grammys. I eventually wound up moving in with Phil in New York State for half a year because he thought I was going to be the next Billy Joel. So I moved in there and I go look in his den, and on the door for a doorstop, he had a Grammy Award. I'm like, Phil, this is out of hand. When you have so many Grammys that you can use one of them as a doorstop, I think it's time to let other people win Grammys. Anyway, Phil was working with Jim Henson. He's like, finally, I can hear you guys all sighing. Finally, he's getting to answer the question. So Phil introduced me to Jim Henson, and they loved the first 4 songs I did, and that's how I got involved in Muppets Go to Disney. I did a whole bunch of other things called Muppets on Wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's how, because of Phil, I was introduced to Jim. And then I became fairly good friends with Jim, who would call me up and go, hello. I go, don't do that. Don't do the Kermit thing. You freak me out. It's like a doll staring at me or something. Jim would say, okay, Gonzo and the Chicken are in Disney World, and they're in the bottom of the Disney World, a laundromat, but they think it's a ride. I'm like, okay, give me about an hour. So I call him back, and I go, love in a laundromat, who would have thought of that? I was like, brilliant!
Oh my gosh.
Love it.
Wow.
I'm like, well, Jim, what's the relationship between Gonzo and the Chicken? He's like, we don't really like to talk about that.
Yes, gotta love Gonzo and the Chickens.
They still don't.
Yeah, they had this kind of
Easy there. You all right, Camilla? Oh, there we are. Wow. Hey, holy Toledo, look what we've got here. Walt Disney's Laundryland. Lordy, it's a dream come true. Love in a laundromat. Who would have thought of that? Tumbling together in some fancy machine. I can't deny it was love at first cycle. You set me spinning if you know what I mean. Love in a laundry. Watch for the ceiling. Soon we'll be feeling like new. Oh, my little poppy seed, you say the sweetest things. I can't deny it was love at first cycle. Tossing and turning around here with you.
kind of weird relationship. They're always hanging out, but
Yeah, I know.
so I had like 4 or 5 songs in Muppets Go to Disney, and I was there, which was really cool because I was in Disney with them while they were shooting it. So like the next day, he was like, okay, we're gonna have Epcot Center, we're gonna have a band, and we need like a rock song. So I get told that in the morning, and by the next day, it was like over there with rock and rolling the world around.
Nice.
So it was fun. Very fun to hear what they were going to do next. The Love No Laundromat, when they first wrote it, they loved the idea of the Love at First Cycle and You Set Me Spinning. But the producer at the time, he said, it's a beautiful ballad, and we can't do a damn thing with it. I'm like, why? He's like, it just sounds too pretty. It's got to be goofier. It's got to be more Muppetier. So I came back 3 hours later. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, perfect. Now we got it. So it kept changing while we were working. So I was down there for like a month just doing that. And watching the Muppets trying to get inside the rides so you could only see the Muppets while they had to sit underneath the seats. That was crazy.
I bet it was. It sounds crazy and really difficult.
Yeah, like in other words,
Yeah.
somebody would have to strap Jim Henson underneath the chair of the roller coaster so he could hold up a puppet that was supposed to be sitting on the roller coaster. Like all kinds of things like that would be going on. Okay, that's it for our show.